Hi there. The name of my talk is The Wisdom of the Collective. I'm Bonnie Cushing. I'll introduce myself again a little later. Now, I imagined many ways to begin this talk today. You know which idea to start with and what kind of tone. And then I thought, I am a weaver of metaphor. And I will be addressing a sea of weavers. So why not employ a tool of the trade? And so I decided to go with my symbol, the pan. Now, I'm sorry, April, right in your face there. Now, this pan is not new. It's clearly a pan of many meals. It's layered with memories, and it's got seasoning baked into it, and it has endless stories to tell. And it's a bit banged up also, having been traded for a new and shiny pan that tends to serve meals without grassroots flavor and the taste of history and culture. Gotta turn the page. Note, this pan is ageless, and it is wise, and when I use it, its sizzle is a reminder to me that there are more cooks preparing this meal than me. This pan serves up the best potluck, and so do our ceremonies. That's what I want to talk about today. The power we hold as celebrants to cook recipes from our collective cookbook in richly layered pans like this one, and to feed a world hungry for reconnection. So I am Bonnie Cushing, and before I continue, I need to take a moment to acknowledge the vision, the leadership, and the devotion of Charlotte and Gail and Pat and Cindy and Kate and everyone at the foundation, because they've made it possible for me and for all of us to be doing this work. So I invite everyone now to please join me in offering up a grateful thank you to them. And you can just shout it out. Thank you! Rocking out. And thank you for that thank you. Now, I've had the joy and the pleasure of being a celebrant for 5 years now. And in this young movement here in North America, I guess that makes me an elder. And for me, celebrancy has been a source of great pride and also great challenge, calling my full presence and personhood into each and every ceremony I do. It's been a highly conductive element in which I can simmer my lifelong passions for community and culture and justice. Sometimes it gets rather hot in the kitchen, but there's no place I'd rather be. Now, I entitled my talk, The Wisdom of the Collective, and it's a twist on the name of today's program. But what sits at the heart of it is the abiding belief that we are all connected together, both in this moment and with those who came before and those who will follow, and that our very survival depends on our acknowledging and opening to that truth. Celebrancy is an extremely potent way to reawaken our sense of shared destiny, and therefore it's a powerful way to repair our world. You didn't know we were in that business, did you? Well, we are. We are nothing less than agents of social transformation. We can't avoid it. It's inherent in the ceremonial arts itself. For ceremony reminds us, at its most fundamental and structural level, that we never get anywhere alone. You see, ceremony requires another. It simply cannot be done in solitude. At the very least, ceremony requires one element in order to take place, an officiant, a witness, an object, a divine presence. It's transactional. It takes place between. No matter what kind it is, wedding, funeral, business launching, or healing, ceremonies testify to our interdependence. So now at this point in my talk, I am interdepending on all of you to join me in a brief experience. Are you game? Yeah. I know you're game already with the question. So let's all take a moment to stand up and move a tad, or you can squirm in your seats, or you can close your eyes and roll your eyeballs around, or do whatever will ease it out a little bit. So just ease it out. I'm going to do this. Okay, that's good. Now sit. Take a couple of slow and deep breaths. Oxygenate. Oxygenate. And now, after I complete these instructions, I want you to turn to the person to both sides of you. Introduce yourself to them first by your name, and then as the child of your parents, who you name, and then as the grandchild of your grandparents, who you also name out loud. And finally, name any children you have or any children you love as your own. And I'll go first to give a template. I better not blow this. I'm Bonnie, daughter of Marion and Jerome Berman, granddaughter of Molly and Hyman Solomon, and of Bella and Joseph Berman. And I'm mother of Molly and Jerry. So, okay, it's your turn now. Do it. Okay. Okay, how we doing now? We're doing well. All right. Okay, let's come back. You're not done over there. Okay, you know, wow. The room feels a whole lot fuller now, doesn't it? And a few degrees warmer, perhaps. By merely telling and hearing a small but very crucial part of our story, we have grown sixfold or more in the past few minutes, and without any parking tie-ups. Pretty impressive, given how much we humans yearn for connection and community. We are, after all, relational beings. And this yearning has taken on a sense of urgency lately, it seems, in this time of so much fear and isolation. I can feel it. Can you? Could it be that the ecological crisis is raising our stakes, making it critical to act in concert with each other and out of our common humanity? Truly, if I've witnessed anything in my 5 years of Celebrant work, I've witnessed people, time and again, devour the connection they get from ceremony. We are all absolutely ravenous. Now, when I'm explaining to couples who are resistant, wedding couples who are resistant to facing out, I don't know if you've experienced that yet, and some get a little shy, I tell them that their love is being served up for their family and friends to feast upon, that they are feeding their community, and in return for sharing this loving meal, they are lifted up and carried across the threshold into their new lives. At funerals, we feast together on memories and on praise, and it is then that we are able to communally carry grief's weight on all the assembled shoulders, and thereby crushing none. We cannot fully embark on any significant journey without our collective's blessing and release. Otherwise, we will need to leave a part of ourselves behind in order to stay connected. We cannot fully arrive without an affirming community to welcome us. Without their safe embrace, we hide the most tender parts of ourselves. At life's critical transitions, ceremony harnesses the power and wisdom of the collective to carry us where we want, we need, or voluntarily or not, where we must go. And it revitalizes and rehumanizes us in the process. So I want to start to conclude this Cosmic Food Network presentation by sharing a few of the ingredients I frequently suggest and use in ceremonies to foster connection and to strengthen community. And they can be served up in all kinds of ceremonies, with clients' approval, of course, but I'll use a wedding as an example today. And I start the ceremony without any explanation by lighting what I call the pilot light. It stands as a symbol of all that has come before and all that will remain. And while here, it provides us enough light to recognize each other. I use it as the light that lights all the other lights during the course of the ceremony too, like unity tapers or memorial candles. And in this way, it serves a very practical purpose. No more shaky hands and broken matchsticks and grandmothers with those vice grip clickers. So that's one thing I do. I also make a notable deal of asking people to turn off their cell phones and other electronic devices. This goes back to part of what Jack said, too. I usually do it with a joke, but I seriously, very seriously see the announcement as much more than utilitarian. I see it as a prerequisite step toward authentic connection. I mean, it's interesting how we talk about connection anymore. To be connected now usually means being wired up to all manner of machinery. Or maybe it means to gain access to power, like having connections. But getting a gathering of people to unplug everything and listen to the same words and music together at the same time, these days, that is nothing short of cultural alchemy and a very, very necessary step to bringing us closer together. I also use collective language whenever possible. They are not the bride and the groom. They are our bride and our groom, or they're our brides and our grooms. Subtle, but very powerful. And as a final example, I always suggest that couples consider naming out loud those loved ones who are present, not in person, but in spirit and in memory. These invocations deepen our sense of community in the space and help us to locate ourselves in a larger and more generous story. So, those are some thoughts and some ideas from an elder with a banged up and well-oiled pan. I hope a morsel or two of what I have shared can provide you with some sustenance on your journey as celebrants and as gatherers of collective experience. Know that the need is great and the possibilities limitless. We can take our whole lives to practice, and who knows what we might cook up together. Thank you.